Hi, it's Lucy, and today I'm here to do my 2020 TBR. For the past few years since I've been doing BookTube, every year I've done a TBR for the whole next year. That is just basically 12 books that I would like to get to during that year. My 2019 TBR did not go so well. If you would like to hear about my reading stats and how I did on that video will be linked down below if it's up. If it's not up, then look forward to it. This video is also part of the 12 Days of Lucy Reads, which is where I put up a video every day until the end of the year. And there is a whole playlist of all the videos I've already done for this series this year down below. So feel free to check that out if you're interested and want to hear about more end of the year things, more new year things. So 2020 TBR, I'm gonna do it a little slightly differently than I've done in previous years. This time I have a few categories of books that I wanted to choose and try and get myself motivated to read. I'm already slightly motivated to read these. That's why they're on my Goodreads TBR and kind of why I picked them. But instead of it just being completely random, I've done like 2 extra categories. The first category is the oldest books on my Goodreads TBR. This is not quite the oldest books on my Goodreads TBR because I did have to skip a few because some of them were like an entire series and I'm not just gonna put all those books on the TBR, but these are among like the last 15 oldest books on my Goodreads TBR. And by oldest, I mean since I've put them on my TBR. All these books I put on my Goodreads TBR in 2012, so yeah, pretty old. So first we have The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. This series used to be super popular on BookTube, on the reading internet. I used to be really into book tumblers and it was really popular there as well. Now the hype has definitely died down. There is a sequel series that people have mixed feelings about. I actually haven't heard anything really good about it, but people really liked the Unbecoming of Mara Dyer trilogy. So I still want to see what the hype is about, but I think this follows Mara Dyer, who wakes up and doesn't know who she is or doesn't know where she is or something like that. I think there's some supernatural elements. Next we have Elsewhere by Gabrielle Zevin. I believe that this was on a TBR recently, and I didn't read it obviously since it's in this video. The past 3 years, basically since I started BookTube, I've been trying to read all of Gabrielle Zevin's books, but I have failed because I just haven't made it a priority. I would really like to finish a couple of authors backlists so I can make a ranking authors video. I used to try and do one of those every year, but I didn't do one in 2019. I don't think I did one in 2018 either. I've really only done 2, but I would like to make more of them and bring that series back. And to do that, I have to finish authors backlists so I can rank them properly. So this is one of them. I kind of think I may have already read this and just forgot about it, but I can't remember. So probably when I read it, it will be just like I'm reading it for the first time. This, I'm pretty sure, follows a girl who dies and she ends up in Elsewhere, which I don't think is heaven or hell. I think it's purgatory. I'm not 100% sure. All the books in this TBR, I did not look at the synopsis prior to filming this because I like doing it off the cuff. I think it makes it more fun. Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. This I know I put on my TBR when I thought I wanted to read way more classics. This was 2012. I was a sophomore in high school and I was thinking about college, and I thought that in college everyone was going to be super pretentious and will have read all these books and only want to talk about classics. So I started to read more classics so I would have something to talk about in college. That was really 15-year-old Lucy's mindset. In case you're still in high school and watching this video, that is not true. In college, nobody will ever touch a book unless they're an English major. And even if they were an English major, then they will stop reading any book outside of class. Around the World in 80 Days, and I added this book because I think the movie had just come out or remembered about the movie. And basically this follows a man who gets dared to try and go around the world in 80 days in his hot air balloon. Noughts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman. This is the first, I guess, race bent series. I don't know what word I'm looking for. Race swapped. This follows 2 characters who are members of opposing classes. There are crosses, which are the dark-skinned ruling class, and then there are noughts, which are the lighter-skinned not ruling class, and we follow that. I'm pretty sure it takes American society, not American society, American history and things like that, and places it in this world so that the noughts were previously slaves to the crosses in historically, and it's that kind of history. Does that make sense? Did that make sense? The sentence? Hopefully. I Used to hear interesting things. I haven't heard about the series in a long time, but I just looked on Goodreads and it has like 40,000 ratings, which is very high. It definitely used to be popular. This is the first book in a 4-book series, I want to say. So we'll see if I like it, how I feel about it. So those are the 4 like oldest books on my TBR, and the next 4 are leftover from last year's 2019 TBR. I did abysmally on my 2019 TBR, so I'm gonna just take some of those books and put it on this year's TBR. I'm not sure if that's a great idea because I didn't end up reading those books, but I'm just gonna do it. We'll see if it happens again. I guess if it happens again, then I should just take these off my TBR. I don't know. So the first book is Gathered Together in My Name by Maya Angelou. This is the second book in her memoir series. This is her second memoir. I loved I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, which made me want to read all of Maya Angelou's memoirs, and just Maya Angelou as a person made me want to read her memoirs. I read that in 2018, which is why I put this on my 2019 TBR. I didn't get to it, so it's on my 2020 TBR. The first one ends, she's 16, I want to say. So this one follows her from like 16, I want to say to like 20, I could be lying. Persuasion by Jane Austen. Once again, in my trying to read all of authors' backlists, although Jane Austen is dead, so is it really a backlist? I don't know. I'm just trying to read all of Jane Austen's books, and I did not do anything. Normally I try to read 1 a year, and this year I was going to try to read 2 because I only had 2 left, but I didn't even read 1. So yeah. Persuasion, I don't even know what Persuasion is about. So there's that. But I love Jane Austen. She's my favorite like classical writer. And the next book is Northanger Abbey. Same reason as Persuasion. I don't really know what Northanger Abbey is about either, but I've heard that this one is more fun, and I do think I will like it more than Persuasion. Hunger, A Memoir of My Body by Roxane Gay. Last year, I want to say, or the year before last year, I read Bad Feminist. I really liked it, and I follow Roxane Gay on Twitter. I really like her on Twitter, and I just liked hearing of her writings. She's Haitian. I want to read this book. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book, so I really want to read it. And then the next 4 are just random books that I chose off of my Goodreads TBR that I'm like, yeah, I do want to get to those next year. The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin. I read the 5th season, the first book in the series last year that was also on my 2019 TBR, but I did read that one, and it was so good. I thought it was really interesting, really intriguing. I really enjoyed the story, and I'm excited to see where it goes, so I'm adding the second one to my 2020 TBR. Layer of Dreams by Libba Bray. This is also a sequel. This is the second book in the Diviners. Is it going to be a quartet, I want to say? I read The Diviners 2 years ago. I think I was a senior in college, and it was really good. I thought it was done extremely well. I just never continued on in the series, and the 4th book is coming out next year, so ideally I'd read all like the next 2 before then, but we aim low in this house. So we're just aiming for the 2nd book. And The Diviners is kind of a horror, is it horror, thriller, something, mystery? Something like that, set in the 1920s. It has a diverse cast of characters and also deals with the diversity in historical context, which is nice to see. And basically, some people are diviners. The main character is, I forgot her name, but she is sent to live with her uncle in New York, and she is a diviner, which means that she has some kind of supernatural ability, and her ability is to, like, she touches things and she has her memory, I think, and then she meets other people who have abilities of their own, and in the first book they're trying to solve this like murder mystery kind of thing, and it was super interesting. I really liked it. Really excited for the 2nd book, which I have no idea what it's about. Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. This is the first book in the Nevernight Chronicles, Nevernight series. What is it called? I don't know. It has 3 books. And the 3rd book just came out. Lots of people were really excited for it. I hadn't even read this first book, which is disappointing because I'm pretty sure I'm really going to enjoy it. I mean, I think I'm going to enjoy all of these books, but this one I feel like in my bones I'm going to like it. What I know about the Nevernight series is that we follow a girl whose name I forgot, whose parents get killed by something, the government maybe, and then she decides to like go to a school for assassins so that she can get her revenge, and it sounds really good. I know that the book has like footnotes, which also sounds really up my alley. Everything about it sounds up my alley, so I really want to read it. And the last book on my 2020 TBR is Becoming by Michelle Obama. This came out a year ago and I still haven't read it. Oh my god. Someone smite me. Just kidding. Don't kill me, please. I bought it early this year and I still haven't read it. So hopefully early next year I read it. And this is Michelle Obama's memoir. If you don't know what Becoming is about, you've been living under a rock, and I'd like to ask you, how is it under there? Those are the books on my 2020 TBR. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. In the comments down below, let me know any opinions you have about any of the books that I mentioned in this video, and also let me know what are some books that you hope to be getting to in 2020. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I post a video. Once again, check the description box and probably in the cards for the 12 Days of Lucy Reads playlist. I will be posting another video tomorrow, and there was a video posted yesterday. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!